The terminal at JFK buzzed with the usual Monday morning frenzy echoes of rolling suitcases, caffeine-fueled conversations, and the intercom's metallic voice announcing delayed flights. Among the crowd moved a woman who didn't demand attention but carried a quiet assurance. Her name was Claire Whitman. Claire wasn't decked in couture or dripping in designer accessories like many of the frequent flyers around her. She wore a modest black cashmere sweater, fitted jeans, and slip-on walking shoes chosen for comfort, not style. Her blonde hair was pulled into a neat ponytail, and her only jewelry was a delicate gold band on her left hand. She approached the Atlantic Airways first-class check-in desk with her ticket in hand, ready to meet her husband, Charles, in San Francisco. He was already there, finishing up a major acquisition deal, and they had planned a short getaway afterward, their first vacation in nearly a year. "Next passenger, please," called the airline rep behind the counter. A sharply dressed woman with expertly applied makeup and an expression so tight it might have cracked under genuine friendliness. Her name tag read, Madison Crane. Claire stepped forward with a polite smile. "Good morning. Flight 177 to San Francisco." Madison looked her up and down the way a jeweler might inspect a stone they suspect is fake. Her eyes narrowed at the casual outfit lingering on the scuffed soles of Claire's sneakers. Madison took the ticket and ID, her lips pursed in doubt. "And how did you come by this first-class ticket, ma'am?" Claire blinked. "My husband booked it." "I see," Madison said, typing into the system with long, perfectly manicured nails clicking against the keyboard. "There appears to be an issue with your reservation. The seat is marked first class, but the coding on the back end isn't matching up." "There shouldn't be an issue," Claire said evenly. "My husband confirmed everything with your airline yesterday." Madison tilted her head, her smile icy. "Well, there's clearly some kind of problem. Do you have the credit card used for this purchase?" "No. As I said, my husband used his company's travel account." A couple of businessmen behind Claire shifted, one checking his Rolex. They were close enough to overhear, and their expressions read clearly, "Here we go." "We have strict policies regarding first-class passengers," Madison explained in a tone that made it clear she believed Claire had no business there. "Perhaps the booking was made in error." Claire felt the first stirrings of anger. "There's no error. I have a valid first-class ticket." Madison's voice dropped an octave as if confiding something deeply unpleasant. "Our premium experience is designed for customers who meet certain expectations." Claire's voice stayed calm, but the steel was rising. "I'm sitting in first class. That's what the ticket says. I'm not downgrading because of some expectation you've decided I don't meet." Madison's smile vanished. "Would you like to speak to a supervisor?" "I think that would be a good idea," Claire replied. Madison picked up the desk phone. "Richard, we've got a situation at check-in 3. A moment later, a tall, broad-shouldered man in a crisp navy suit approached. His name badge read Richard Sutton, Senior Operations Manager. "What seems to be the issue, Madison?" he asked. Before she could answer, Claire stepped in. "I presented my first-class ticket, and your staff has been interrogating me as if I forged it." Sutton glanced at the ticket, then at Claire's attire, and made a subtle face he probably didn't even realize he made. "Mrs. Whitman. Claire Whitman." "Well, Mrs. Whitman," Sutton said smoothly, "we occasionally experience ticketing irregularities. Unfortunately, some passengers try to board first class using miles or codes that weren't properly authorized." "I didn't use miles," Claire replied. "The ticket was paid for in full." "Do you have the card used for the purchase?" "No. My husband, Charles Whitman, booked it through his company. Unfortunately, without verification, we can't allow you to proceed to first-class boarding." "This is nonsense," Claire snapped, her patience finally cracking. "Check your system properly. This is a valid reservation." Sutton's tone hardened. "Ma'am, you're holding up the line. Either provide verification or I'll have to ask you to step aside." Claire folded her arms. "I'm not going anywhere." Sutton sighed and gestured to a nearby security officer. "Officer Jameson, could you assist us?" The security guard approached, hand resting on his belt. "Is there a problem here?" he asked. "This passenger is refusing to comply with verification requests and disrupting boarding," Sutton said smoothly. "I have a ticket and I'm being denied access because of how I'm dressed," Claire said. The officer frowned. "Ma'am, if the staff is requesting verification." "This is discrimination," Claire said firmly. A murmur passed through the growing line behind her. Sutton's smile didn't reach his eyes. That's a serious accusation, Mrs. Whitman. Perhaps you'd prefer to speak with customer service after your flight. Claire stared at him, then reached into her bag. Fine. Let me make a call. Sutton scoffed. A call won't change our policy. Claire didn't answer. She scrolled through her contacts, hit a name, and held the phone to her ear. 2 rings later, a crisp voice answered. Mrs. Whitman. Good morning. Hi, Rebecca. Is Charles available? One moment. Sutton crossed his arms, clearly thinking she was bluffing. Officer Jameson hovered, still neutral. Then the voice came through. Claire? What's wrong? Aren't you boarding? I'm trying, she said, lowering her voice. They're refusing to honor my first-class ticket. Something about protocols and needing verification. Did you tell them who you are? Charles asked, his voice sharpening. I shouldn't have to. You're right, he said, I see now. Put me on speaker. Claire exhaled and tapped the button. You're on speaker. This is Charles Whitman, the voice boomed, chairman and CEO of Whitman Holdings. Who am I speaking with? Sutton visibly paled. Richard Sutton, Senior Ops Manager. Good, Charles said. That means you know exactly who owns your parent company. I signed the acquisition papers myself last fall. The terminal went silent. And you've been detaining my wife for 20 minutes? There's been a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding. You judged her appearance and tried to deny her what she's entitled to. That's discrimination. Now you have exactly 2 options. Apologize and honor her ticket or prepare for a meeting with our legal counsel. Sutton stammered. Mr. Whitman, where's your regional director? Ish's not on site. Find her. At that moment, a woman in her 60s came striding toward the scene. Her name tag read Melissa Brandt, Regional Director. I'm here, she said breathlessly. Mr. Whitman, this is Melissa Brandt. I came as soon as I received the call. I sincerely apologize. I want to speak with you directly, Charles said. Put the phone to your ear. She obeyed. Claire stepped back, watching the tide shift in real time. Sutton had gone pale. Madison was no longer at the desk. The other staff looked rattled. After a few minutes, Melissa returned the phone to Claire. Mrs. Whitman, I'd like to personally escort you to our VIP lounge. Effective immediately, Mr. Sutton and MS. Crane are suspended pending review. Claire arched an eyebrow. Thank you. I'd also like a written apology distributed to every passenger who witnessed this. Melissa didn't hesitate. Consider it done. Claire followed her through security, her head high. The first-class lounge, normally a place of muted chatter and clinking glasses, went silent as she entered. She wasn't there to gloat, though. She took a seat, declined champagne, and simply asked for water. Melissa knelt beside her chair. Mrs. Whitman, I've already called a meeting with the executive board. We'll be retraining our entire frontline staff. Claire nodded. I hope so. Not everyone has a husband who can shut down a company with one phone call. Melissa looked chastened. Understood. Hours later, the flight landed in San Francisco. The pilot announced her name over the intercom, a gesture Claire didn't care for. She disembarked quickly, only to find Charles waiting on the jet bridge alongside the CEO of Atlantic Airways, Russell Kramer. Mrs. Whitman, he said, offering a hand. On behalf of everyone at Atlantic, I am truly sorry. Charles joined her and put a hand on her back. They've agreed to immediate reforms. And the employees? Claire asked. Terminated, Kramer confirmed. Outside, a black town car waited. As they climbed in, Claire let herself finally exhale. You know, she said, leaning against Charles. None of this would have happened if someone had just treated me with basic decency. That's usually how it starts, he replied. And how it ends.